G'day YouTubers. To be honest, this definitely isn't the best light globe for the purpose. It's actually the type they use in oil rigs from back in the late 80s when my father worked on oil rigs. Anyway, so as you can see, I'm working on the old Magna a bit. At the moment I'm just going to clean up the ignition system, or all the components of it anyway. And there's quite a lot of oil and crap on the leads. The leads I will replace eventually, but you know how it is. Money is scarce at the moment, especially since we're going out to freaking movies and shopping and buying new clothes and all that sort of shit. So, you know, car suffers. But anyway, I'm going to take apart all the distributor and clean it all up, or I might just leave the distributor in there and clean the cap and rota, that sort of thing. And I'll check dwell angle and timing and all that and show you how to do that if you don't already know. It's a very old-fashioned way of doing things, but although seeing as this car doesn't have points, it might make it a bit hard. But anyway, there's all there's a way. I can check timing and all that sort of stuff. I'm just not sure whether I can connect up without points with the one I've got. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. But anyway, so the spark plugs are out, and as you can see, fairly feral. So I'll clean them up and re-gap them. Just save myself $20 or $30 for new ones, whatever they are. So anyway, they're not that old anyway. They're only 6 months old. So we'll do that. Okay, YouTubers. So I thought I just might run you through my procedure for cleaning plugs quickly. Not that it's, you know, anything too grand. Just retrieve the last plug. I've cleaned up all the other ones, so they're already pretty clean, as you can see, the electrodes and such. I can't really see what I'm doing on the monitor, but anyway. So first of all, I've got a hacksaw blade here that's cut and slit down. I just did that on the bench grinder. That works well to get in to the plug like so, and you can scrape all the gunk out. Now these ones aren't too bad, but yeah, so just scrape everything out from in between there. I'll try and keep the camera focused, but you know. So there we go. Once you've done that a bit, rinse it off in the petrol again. Don't drop it. And then I wire brush it thoroughly. I normally do it a bit more thorough than this, but as I said, these are pretty good plugs. So now it's nice and clean. Rinse again. Get the rag in there. Clean all the crap out. And a bit of sandpaper. And this works. Sometimes you need to soak them longer. But I never throw plugs out basically, ever, unless there's cracked electrodes or they're terribly pitted or burned. But on lawnmowers this works 100% of the time. So there we go. Now sand it up in between the tip, so clean off, and then I'll spray that out with the air compressor while it's wet. Get all the rest of the crap out and they'll look brand new. Guarantee you. Here's one I've finished with. If I can manipulate it into the camera. So yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so the rota button isn't looking too bad. Certainly got a lot of life left in it, but I'll just polish it and clean it up. Remove anything that looks like it might trace, and clean up the contact point there, all that sort of stuff. Just make it a bit more serviceable. Wouldn't recommend dousing it in petrol, but rag, I suppose. Same with the distributor cap. It's not too bad, although they're a bit ragged. Actually, that's dated 88, so that's the original distributor cap from factory. That's pretty good. I thought I replaced, oh no, it must have been my neighbour's other vehicle I replaced the distributor cap on. And I'd say those leads are probably original too, which isn't bad, so we'll have to clean her up. And there's quite a bit of oil on there, you can see that's leaking from somewhere. It might be leaking through the distributor actually. I'll have to check that out, where that's coming from. The distributor's mounted down here, and it looks like it is too, you know. It's leaking all the way through the distributor, which is never good. So that means I'm going to have to do distributor shaft seals, which isn't much of a job really. Better tape that up to stop water getting in there, and the camera's not focusing. But anyway, so we'll see what to do. And that's that air conditioner service point. You can see it better now, it's all removed. And there's the coil pack here. So yeah, cleaning them up. Okay, so that's now well, it's come up pretty well. It's definitely serviceable. There's a few pits on there you can see. But apart from that, that'll be fine. And it appears that's original too, by the date code on it. So the distributor, nothing's ever been touched on the distributor. Maybe the cap's never even been taken off, I don't know. So it's obviously never had a tune up, this car, which is why I'll have to do it. So there we go, buttons on there, has a bit of slop in it. So yeah, I'm going to have to take the Dizzy off one day and fix up those oil seals, which is a bit of a pain in the ass job. But anyway, I've done it a few times before on different cars and tractors and crap, so I know what at least know, you know, where I'm heading with it. And this is quite, on inspection, it's quite burnt, sort of. The you know, they've definitely got scorch marks and pitting in them. And the little sort of carbon bush in the centre is pretty good. It is pretty good, which is surprising. They're original leads, so it's pretty sad when you think about it that no one ever even replaced leads and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'll have to do it myself. I might do a compression test while I've got all the spark plugs out. Looks like there's a bit of oil down in there. But anyway, there's a bit of oil leaking out of there, there's a bit of oil leaking out of there, there's oil leaking out of everywhere. But anyway, it's not a problem. They're only very small leaks. And there's a coolant leak from the Welsh plug down there below the water pump, so I'll have to replace that. There's an oil leak from that cam seal, so I won't do that because that's a prig of a thing. Although if I take the cam off, I might be able to just, if I take the cam and the rocker cover off, I might be able to just slip one in there without having to actually take the cam out. And probably I'd say crankshaft seals fucked as well, because they always are on these things. You know, I've dealt with a few of these, the engines in different cars. One's a Triton Ute that belongs to a family friend, and one's a later model TR Magna that belongs to my neighbour up the road that I do a bit of work on for him. So anyway, compression test it is. Okay, so got my timing light hooked up, and we'll just have a look at what the ignition timing is. I've got, I'd say it should be probably around 13 degrees from memory, plus minus 1.5 I think, or 2 it might be, I can't remember, so it might actually, I don't know. Anyway, so now it does run a bit better now that I've got it all back together and cleaned up. Runs smoother at idle, so anyway, we'll see what happens. Haven't got anything where it's going to get caught, no. The idle is quite high, but as far as I'm concerned, that's not such a bad thing. So I can't see a thing, to be honest. I can't see any timing mark actually down there. Oh yeah, I can see it. It's probably a little bit retarded. It's not that bad actually. It's not worth adjusting. Probably at about, although is it retarded, or I'd say probably about 11 degrees. So yeah. But for the sake of that, I don't think it's worth adjusting. I don't know whether you can see it, you probably won't be able to with the shutter speed of the camera, but yeah, so focus on the camera is pretty shocking because we're in night mode, so we'll turn it off night mode. That's a bit better. So anyway, these battery terminals give me the shits. So that's better. These battery terminals give me the shits because you can't actually clamp onto them. So this one's got a washer in it that I used to pack it out a bit because battery terminal was a bit thin really, and that one you just have to stick a nail in between to get negative. But anyway, I'm happy with that. My light's not the best light anyway, so can't really see a problem in what it's at now. Next thing is idle speed. I don't know what that's sitting at. Actually, there's the compliance sticker, or the emission system sticker. Yeah, 13 degrees plus 2 degrees below top dead center. 800 plus minus 50 RPM, and spark plug gap 7 to 8 millimeters, which I normally just open them up a little bit bigger than a hacksaw blade, which is 0.65 millimeters. So that's, you know, close enough. But anyway, that'll do. I'll adjust the idle speed now. Okay, so now I've adjusted the idle and everything so that in gear it idles just over 800 RPM, and out of gear it sits around 1000. But I can live with that because that's only really, you know, idle's quite smooth in that area. If I turn on the lights, you'll see. I don't know, you probably can't see that very well. Anyway, so we'll put her away. I can't really see where I'm going, but anyway, if I don't hear a crash, I know I haven't hit anything. There we go. We're not going to be too easy to manoeuvre in with one hand, but anyway, we'll see how we go. I'll just put the camera down, I suppose. I don't know where that's pointing, but anyway. I'll try to throw it out of the side. Throw it out the window or anything, probably wouldn't be good. So anyway, there we go. Thanks for watching.